Okay, all right. So in what is the first lesson of a very, very long unit, all right, unit 8. Before I even start, let me just go over with you how you should approach this unit, because many of you are going to be doing this at home. All right, so what I want you to consider when you're going into the unit is to approach it like a lesson. All right. In fact, I want you to approach it like a dialogue where I'm talking and you're listening, and then you're doing the questions and so on and so forth. Don't take it any more seriously than that. Okay. So think of it as just a conversation between you and I, where I'm showing you some, for many of you, relatively new ideas. All right, and just be open-minded, watch it, and when the part asks you to practice or when the part asks you to copy something, go ahead and do it, okay? Hopefully you'll learn a lot from this unit, and let's start. Okay, so in this unit, we're talking about geometry, which is the study of shapes, which is probably a lot older than the study of arithmetic, right? Which is adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing two or more numbers. All right, or even especially algebra. Okay, which is the study of equations and expressions and things like that. So let's talk here now. So today, lesson 1, we're going to talk about how to find distance, right? How to find how long something is on the coordinate plane. So that would require us to, once again, go over what the coordinate plane is. So here, let's review real quick. All right. So when we have a number line that goes horizontally, like so, right, that is called the x-axis. And the number line that goes north-south or up-down, right, is called the y-axis. And when the two axes form each other at a right angle, they are said to be perpendicular. And by doing so at the same time, it forms 4 quadrants. And hence, when you're plotting points on the coordinate plane, you're going x, y, right? So that's called what we call an ordered pair. So an ordered pair, it comes at x, comma, y. Meaning, you go left, right first on the x-axis, and then you go up, down on the y-axis, right? So for example, if I were to give you the first point, 1 comma 5, right? You will go 1 over, 5 up, right? On the other hand, if you have negative 2, negative 3, you will go 2 to the left, right? Negative 2. These are negatives, by the way. You guys can't see it, but it's very, very light. That's why. Okay, so these are negative values. Negative 2, negative 3. So there's your coordinate. All right, so on and so forth. So the point of this lesson is something like this. If I were to ask you to plot 2 points in the coordinate plane, could you tell how far those 2 points are apart? So I'll give you an example. So look at number 1 here. We have to find the distance between the points 10, 10 now. So right off the bat, I should have done this better. All right, okay. So 10, 10, and 10, 4. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to find a better coordinate plane. Hold on. Okay, so through the magic of television or YouTube, I was able to find a coordinate plane with these values, okay? So it might be a little bit hard to see, but I think if you do full screen, you should be okay. So the first point is 10, 10. So I'm going to 10 to the right and then 10 up, which will be, let me look real close, right here, right? And then I'm going to do 10, 4. So 10 over, 4 up. So here we have a line. So they want to know how far is this point here. I should have used a different color. Huh? This point here from this point here. Now, of course, you can count, right? That's the point. So if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you would know that the distance between one point to the other is 6. And that's it. That's how you do it, okay? Now, there's obviously a trick to this. You know, it was never going to be this easy. But nonetheless, let's try another one. Now let's see. Find the distance between 2, 6, and 10, 6. So let's go 2 to the right, 6 up. And then 10 over, 6 up. All right. Now, you notice how now we have a horizontal line, whereas the last one was vertical, right? Right here. So horizontally, it doesn't matter how far they're apart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they're 8 units apart. And that's it. That's how you do it. Now, let me ask you, right? If I were to say, hey, let's say this graph doesn't even exist. So let's say I throw this graph out the window. Is there a way you can find out what the distance is without having to like plot the points and count the boxes? Because that takes time. Can you imagine if you have to draw your own graph, right? Plot the points and then count, right? That does take some time. Is there a trick? Think of it. Think about this. Is there a trick? Let me erase this first. Is there a trick to it? Yeah. Have you noticed that this value, same as this value, and that this second value is the same thing as this second value, right? So that means, right? So if I go 10, 10 again, and 10, 4, now that we have a perfectly vertical line that, let me draw the line, okay? All right, so, right? Oops, wow, not the best. Okay, right? You have a vertical line here. That means you notice how the x value never changed because they're both 10, right? So that means the only thing changes is the y value. So when both x values are the same, you get a vertical line, right? And the y value stays the same. So how can you, so let me ask you this then. Knowing that, how the 10 and 4 become 6? Yeah, you subtract them, right? So 10 minus the 4 here, right, becomes 6. Likewise, since 6 and 6 the same, let me use a different color, yeah? Let's use green. So if I have 2, 6, which is right, right here, and 10, 6, which is what, right here, right, you form another line. So let me erase this one first. Oh, I gotta get rid of this line. Okay, all right. Let me plot the other point again. So 10, 6, and I have a line here. Notice, right? Perfectly flat line when the y values are the same, right? So now, if you don't have to count, how can you tell how far 2 is away from 10? Yeah, it's 8, right? So that's how you do it. So now that you know this quote-unquote trick, write this down right here, all right? And I'll read. If the points lie in the same quadrant, subtract the absolute values of the appropriate coordinates, all right? Meaning, subtract the 2x values or the 2y values, all right? If they lie in different quadrants, add the absolute values. Okay, all right. So don't think too much about this, actually. Look at this one, right? Which value is the same? Right, the 6, right? So what does that mean? How far is 9 away from 2? Yeah, that's right, 7, right? Look at this one. The 10 here is the same thing as 10. right? So how does 10 become a 5? That's right, 5. Okay, so easy enough, right? Okay, having said that, I want you to try these questions. And then when you are done, go ahead and press play. Okay, so try these on your own. Okay, and we're back. Okay, so for the first one, right, which points are the same? Yeah, the 5s, right? So as a matter of fact, if it helps, you can cross these out. Just don't even look at them, right? How far is 10 away from 6? 4, right? It's right here. Second one, which number is the same? Right, 9, right? So in other words, how far is 4 away from 10? 6, right? By the way, don't worry about the direction. So you know how this is going from bigger to smaller value, and this one's from smaller to bigger. Doesn't matter. You don't have to write negative distance, right? Because remember up here it says absolute value, right? Absolute value. So it doesn't matter. Okay. All right. Last one. All right, and that'll be it for today. Find the distance between the points, right? So these are both the same, right? So don't look at that. How does 10 become 5? Yeah, you go 5 over. And that's it. All right, and that's how you do it. So this is a very easy first lesson, all right, which is important. One last thing, if the numbers are negative, right? The reason why I say this, if the numbers are negative, you're going to have to count, is this. If I were to ask you, how far is negative 7, 3 away from, you know what, I don't even need to use that. I'll keep this positive. If I make this 7, 3 to 7, negative 3, right? Right now, we just haven't touched integers yet. So you probably wouldn't know what to do here. But that's, you know, in a way, that's not something that you have to worry about right now. Okay, so what you have to think about is if you got 7, 3 and 7, negative 3. So for example, 7, 3 and 7, negative 3. All you do is count, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the difference here would be 6. One point is 6 units away from the other. Okay, so that's what you have to do. Because right now, if I ask you to do 3 minus negative 3, like that's just not something we've gone over yet. Okay, all right. So if you want to try these extra questions, I'll be more than happy to provide for the answers for you. So go ahead and press pause if you want to. Okay, and we're back. So I'm just going to write the answers down. All right. Okay, so again, so these questions, the particular questions you got to watch out for are these, right? Because there's a negative number here. This one, right, goes from negative 6 to positive 5, right? So if you imagine what a number line looks like, right, that's why these answers might be different than some of what you had. Okay, so, all right, okay, thanks for watching, and have a good one.
OMG, that was so good.